Sign was the first track I was working on when I came back home from touring the last album. And usually that's the time I tend to write slower and more intimate material, almost ballads. I guess because touring to me can be quite loud and overwhelming sometimes. So the track started as this kind of atmospheric ballad, which was just based on quite detuned and spherical Juno 60 chords. And for a few weeks it stayed like that, and I didn't really touch it, and it made sense at the time. But revisiting the track at some point, I realized it would also work in a more dance music world when I added an 808 and a bass line and those vocal samples that come in later in the track. I actually built a new studio when I came back from playing the live shows. I had a lot of studios in the past, and they were often shared or didn't really feel like I was going to stay there for a long time. And this time it felt like I'm actually building a proper studio. And I built it in a way that I was kind of thinking of for years. I had the setup in mind and the gear that I wanted for it. It almost felt like I built the studio for the new material. I'm really influenced by how the studio around me is set up and how the instruments are arranged. It's definitely more important to me than where in the world I am. I think I could do the music anywhere, really. But it's super important to me how the working environment looks like and how it feels, how everything's organized. I need to have everything connected all the time, so that it just takes literally 5 seconds to record any instrument around me. The bass line was the first other melodic element. It's a TTSH 2600, which is a clone of this legendary synthesizer called ARP 2600, which I think it's incredible for these raw, powerful bass sounds. And I love the spring reverb that's built inside, which actually, even if you put it really low in the mix, adds a lot of rich tone. Rhythmically, something I always love in bass lines is when they jump around the kick and snare and are never quite on the backbeat. It's that classic Bootsy Collins funk 101, I would say. And it really made the rhythm of the track more immediate and dynamic. And suddenly the track really felt like dance music. Normally I record a lot of real drums in the studio, often multi-layered and on top of each other. But with this one, it felt right to keep it simple and raw, and just with the drive of the beat of the 808. For the vocal samples that come in the breakdown, I actually recorded my own voice and Foreman shifted it down, which is something that you can do to make it sound like it's pitched down. And it just gives it like a nostalgic feel, I would say, and it sounds like this 90s house sample. Processing my vocals in that way is something I did a lot in some of the first tracks I released, like Soleil and Elliot. It was fun to have that connection again to my older material. You know, sometimes it's these early production techniques that you tend to move away from, but that ultimately form your signature sound, and it felt great to come back to that again. And I think these vocal samples and the 808 and the bass line turned the track pretty quickly into something more accessible, I would say. I remember at one point the new working title was Emotional Festival Banger. I just really loved how the whole track was turned upside down, kind of. Ironically, dance music has always been most uplifting to me when a sad or melancholic lyric hits you on the dance floor. So I think in the end I tried to create a ballad about loss, but really in the disguise of this euphoric festival dance anthem. I found it really inspiring to make something that's initially made for listening alone on your headphones at home, but that can come alive when played out at a huge gathering of people, and therefore, you know, creates a form of unity.